Alright, hello everybody, hello, this is Ricky Mike, coach of the Virginia Victinis, and we are here to do our, draft analysis, draft recap, whatever you're gonna call it, for our fourth season playing on the WPF Delta Division. Uh, as per usual, this is a Wi-Fi league, where we are allowed to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. We get to declare some tier captains and all that good stuff. I'm just here, Galar, chilling with Victini, because he's not allowed to play in Paldea. But there also might be a little bit of, foreshadowing to some cool stuff coming on the channel later. So keep an eye out for that. Anyways, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our WPF Delta draft.
All right, for my pick number one, I should disclose that at the time I made this pick, I didn't know that Terra Regieleki was actually going to be allowed this season, and I actually could have picked it. Unfortunately, I didn't pay attention to the doc, I guess. That's my fault. It happens. I love Regieleki. I would have loved to draft a Terra Regieleki on Wi-Fi. It is what it is. I had gotten to use it on Showdown before, and I actually won a championship with it, so I know it's pretty good. Regardless, that's my fault. But anyways, I did end up getting a pretty decent pick one in my opinion. We ended up grabbing Greninja itself, Strider Ryu, we'll call it, which I'm pretty happy with. The stats are pretty good. Typical starter stats. 122 is a pretty decent speed stats to start building my team. Mixed offenses are all right, especially if I can get a boost with Battle Bond, or if I can get, if I just decide to go with Prothean. Even the Torrent Scent is actually pretty decent as a lead with Spikes and Taunt, which also tells me that this thing gets a lot of decent utility in Spikes, in Toxic Spikes, in Taunt, as well as momentum in U-turn, of course, and it can go both physical and special. Usually, you want to go special, but you never know. Getting a battle bond with this thing can be game ending, as I learned my very short time using it on PPL NX stage 2, and I did pretty decent with it. So yeah, happy to have it here. I could have Terra. It is available to Terra, but I decided that I wanted to go with a different option. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, pretty happy to get Greninja as my first pick. All right, pick number 2. As I mentioned, I had my ass on something else that I could Terra. I'm gonna be straightforward. I had done a lot of leaks on Gen 9. At this point, as I assume we're reaching the end of it. I'm trying to draft things that I haven't drafted before. I haven't drafted a lot, and they're gonna be fun to use, especially on Wi-Fi. I collect Pokemon and I want to use them. So I had drafted this Pokemon I think once before. I really didn't like it, mostly because I couldn't Terra, and I think that it needs, to be able to Terra to have to reach his full potential. This Pokemon is more designed, I guess, with Terra in mind. With that said, our second pick is going to be our Childon itself, or Apophicot Howers, as we're gonna call it, which is a very bulky, physically defensive Pokemon, but also could be a Snow Roll into a Sweeper. As I mentioned, this is going to be our first Terra Captain, because, like I said, I want to Terra it, and yeah, it does give me a Rocker, which is good. Now I have access to all the Spikes, Rocks, and Toxic Spikes, so that's always good. And I also have, like I said, on Rain, this thing can snowball. Access to Terra is very beneficial for it. Speed is not the greatest, but we'll do. We can run defensive sets as well. So yeah, I think this Pokemon should be fun. I guess a bit of a spoiler there, but I do need to get Rain if I want to be able to, use it in strain mode. So we'll see how that affects the rest of my draft. But yeah, pretty happy with my number 2 pick here. So for our third pick, Well, at this point, a lot of good things on the board have gone already. But I do, I guess I should mention that this league does allow Dragapult and Spectre. Um, so kind of imply that you need to draft good normal type. And I did see a pretty decent normal type still on the board at this point that I haven't gotten to use in draft before. I had gotten to use it on um, what you call it in BGC, but never on draft. So yeah, for our third pick, we're gonna go ahead and grab good old Ursaluna Blood Moon, um, which is of ground normal, obviously, but it's a normal type that doesn't care about ghosts, as far as defensively at least. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Gives us an incredibly strong breaker on the special side. Downside is I guess I don't get stealth rocks on this, but that's fine. I mean, as somebody told me before, why would you be ever be clicking stealth rocks on an Ursaluna? Um, that was for the regular one, but I guess it does apply to Blood Moon as well. So yeah, very slow Pokemon, which gives us the option to Trick Room later on if we decide to go with that, and it also gets set up because it gets Calm Mind, and it gets priority, which is also funny with Backing Weight. One of the scariest things in draft that I have faced is when I come prepared to face a Specs or Saluna, and then my opponent just starts Calm Minding with this thing. So yeah, I had hated facing it before, and hopefully my opponents will hate facing it versus me this season. But yeah, that's our round 3 pick. Okay, Pokemon number 4. Well, we need a fairy. Also, there's a lot of fairies that I haven't used, mostly because there's not a lot of good fairies on Gen 9. I could try to go for an early Diancie, but I use the Diancie so much that I'm not gonna do that. At the same time, if I'm gonna try something akin to Rain or Hyper Offense, I don't wanna spend too much time focusing on having to control hazards on my side with the likes of Spin and Defog, and also a lot of the Spinners and Defoggers I have already drafted before. Quaquaval will be a consideration, but I already have a water type. So yeah. However, there is one Pokemon on the board that kind of meets all the requirements and it helps me with hazards. So I guess we're just gonna go ahead and grab Hatterene for our number 4 pick. I haven't used this on any kind of draft before. I use it a lot in BSS, Battle Stadium Singles, for those of you who didn't know, which is bring 6, choose 3 Pokemon, I guess, single battles. I usually use it on Trick Room, and it's nasty Pokemon on Trick Room. So grabbing Ursaluna, this might be a good option to bring once or twice during the season. And of course, with Magic Bounce, I don't need to worry about hazards too much, which is nice, but it's not the best deterrent, if I may say so. When your opponent knows that it's coming. That being said, another strong special breaker. I considered this making my secondary Terra Captain, but we're gonna go with no at this time. But maybe we'll think about it again later on the season. In any case, this is gonna be Hatterene. Excited to use it for the first time ever, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so for pick number 4, well, I already have actually four pretty good decent special breakers, so I think I need to grab a physical breaker. Unfortunately, I wanted to draft Orgapong Cornerstone, but somebody sniped it from me like right before, or a few turns before he got to me. So I'm gonna go with my best second available option, which is gonna be little Asuka, the Orgapon Heartflame. Unfortunately, this thing is not allowed to Terra because WFP mods are cowards and won't allow me to Terra my Orgapon, even though Regieleki is allowed, and so is Trimix Sky. But no matter, this Pokemon I had used before in draft and BGC as well. I really like it. I think it is very underrated. Everybody likes to dump on it because they say it's the worst type, the Orgapon, but yet they all too scared to allow it to Terra. It's the only Orgrimmon that is never allowed to Terra. Anyways, it gives me a very good speed tier in 110. Below Greninja, the fire and grass is great stuff combination. It also gives me utility options in knockoff, U-turn, spikes, even spike shield. It can set up with a Source Dance and Trailblaze. And I know I mentioned a couple times now that I may be drafting Rain, and I probably will draft Suns or Rain mode, but I want to draft a team that also will work outside of Rain, and I think that Orgrimmon helps with that. A lot of people might bring a lot of grass types, bulky grass types to try to stop Rain, and then Orgrimmon should be able to do away with them relatively easy. So, yep, that's gonna be our 5th pick, and welcome to the team. All right, round 6. I think it's time for us to start covering some of the holes that our team has, as well as maybe filling other options. I don't have a whole lot of utility Pokemon. I don't think. I think most of the Pokemon that I've drafted are very offensive. But let's take a look at some of the conventional holes. I don't have a Dark Dive yet. I don't have a Ground Poison yet. And I may be drafting Rain. Who knows? So there is one Pokemon that fits all of those criteria. So I guess we're gonna go down to Hellraiser itself, pull out good old Pinhead, and we'll draft the Hisuian. Well, what am I saying? Hisuian Quillfish. I'm drafting over Quill. I like this Pokemon. I won an Uber League with it. It is great. It is another spike machine. As you can see, I really love spikes. I think they're great. But yeah. Anyways, it gives me a grounded poison, which is good. It gives me a potential sweet swimmer if I end up going with the rain, which is also great. Intimidate for the leads or bulky options is also great. Not much else to say. Base 85, it conflicts with our Charlodon, but that is fine. Not a big deal on that. Barbarash is nasty, but unfortunately I never poison people with it. Maybe let's get Taunt and Destiny Bond and Pain Split and some other utility options. So I'm happy with it. We'll see how it does. It's usually all reliable, so I'm happy we have to get it. All right, pick number 7. I'm seeing still a couple of things on the board. I kind of have a plan. I have been sniped a couple of times, but at this point I kind of have a plan of what I want to do. So, I kind of want something fast there. So, I would like another electric immunity, I guess, if I'm going to be drafting Rain. So, anyways, I'm gonna grab my secondary Capitan, and it's gonna be Kilowattrol, which will be naming Kikyo after the after mother of the Soldic family. I don't know why, I just like naming shiny electric types. That it gives me the vibes. Anyways, very good Pokemon to be my secondary Terra captain. So we're gonna have to make it a Terra. It gives me a speed tier faster than Greninja 125, decent special attack in 105, and it can even run some physical sets from time to time. I had done it before, I know that much. Not much else to say. Hopefully I can hit my Hurricanes, and it does also gives me access to competitive, which low-key is good when you have so much spikes on your team. So hopefully we might be able to take advantage of that. I'm not the biggest fan of this Pokemon. I drafted a couple times. I think I drafted in WPF before once too. But hopefully this will be his redemption story. Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, that is pick number 7. Okay, so for pick number 8, we should be getting close to the end now. The league allows to draft 9 to, I believe, 11 or 12 Pokemon. I don't remember how many. I mean, I've been saying that I'm drafting Rain or Suns or Rain mode for the longest time. So, enough stalling, I guess. For our pick number 8, we're going to go ahead and grab a Politoed. No, I'm kidding. We're drafting Pelipperb. Yeah. Anyways, I had played Rain before with Basque Legion, and it was very good. We're going to try a different mode in this time, I guess. But I hear that it's pretty decent with a Charlatan. I do have, a good quote-unquote hazards game. So this should help me enable both Greninja and Archaludon, to be honest with you, which I think is great, and it helps with the Swift Swimmer, potential Swift Swimmer that I have in Overquill and Kilowattrel. So yeah, no, there's not a whole lot you can say about this Pokemon. I hate that it doesn't get defog anymore. But other than that, pretty solid. And yeah, we'll see how it does. As far as nickname, I think we'll be nicknaming this one Nigel. I don't want to do too many wrestling nicknames on one season. So we'll see. I normally name it Okada. If you don't know what that is, you should be ashamed. That's the Rainmaker itself. Anyways, that's gonna be our pick number 8. Okay, so for a knife Pokemon, I actually drafted this very at the very end. I'm leaving the best for last, I guess. So, well, I got my rain mode. I do think it will be a good idea to have a Dota abuser. And I do have some Terra points left because the budget was relatively high. So I'm gonna draft Pokemon that I haven't drafted in a while. I believe since Gen 7, and I can make it a Terra Captain for essentially free. So we're gonna go ahead and grab another Sweet Swimmer, and it's gonna be Kindra. Yeah, this is like the experiment. I don't know how well or how many times this thing is even gonna come, but I seem to have either a breaker mode, I have a trick room mode, I have a rain mode. This Pokemon can be very scary if you let it set up. If it is, Kridra, so Terra, defensive Terras might be very useful for it, or just a good old choice specs rain sweeper. So yeah, not much else to say. I'm excited to use it once again. Like I said, I haven't drafted it since Gen 7. So we'll see how it does. And last but not least, of course, this wouldn't be a WPF draft if Mike didn't end up getting the Annihilator herself, Rhea Ripley, the Annihilate. So yeah, there's not a whole lot I can say about this Pokemon, right? I had drafted it on WPF for the last 2 seasons. But 3 seasons with this one. The last 2 seasons, it was actually my primary Terra Captain, and it was good. It got me to quarterfinals 3 seasons ago. It got me to semifinals last season. I don't know, maybe third time is the charm. Who knows? But yeah, I didn't necessarily wanted to drop this Pokemon because, like I said, I didn't want to draft Pokemon that I had drafted before. But with so many drafts and things getting taken, this was my best option available. So I'll take it. I do have a lot of spikes set up. So, having a spin blocker like Neelave is great. It does give me another rocker, which is good. Um, I think the more I play with it, the more I learn how to use it. And last season gave me the impression that I didn't really need the Terra that much. Granted, Terra makes it much, much better, but it really doesn't need it as much as other Pokemon. So instead of making a Terra Captain, which I could in theory because the budget allows me to do both Archaludon and Annihilate, I'm just gonna keep it regular Annihilate and see how it does. It does give me a good in between tier between my base 85s and my base 190. It's not that close, but it's still good. And I think I'm gonna use it on more of an offensive form rather than a setup last season. Even though setup did well from time to times, but you know this team's structure is a little bit more offensive. So, anyways, our last pick is gonna be Annihilate. And there you have it. That's going to be our roster for the Virginia Victinis on this our 4th season playing on WPF Delta. Is it the best thing that I ever drafted? No. I'm super happy with it. I'm perfectly happy with it. Not necessarily. A few things were sniped from me. I haven't made any transactions during the last 2 seasons, but I may do a couple. Who knows? I'm gonna see how it performs or how it feels during the first couple weeks, and we'll see what happens. So they must not be the final roster, but who knows, right? Anyways, yeah, at least I'm fun. I'm looking forward to trying a few of the Pokemons on this roster. So hopefully we can have a fun season. Hopefully we can put on a good showing, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you during the regular games. Bye now.